If you want to use typography scales in your next Webflow project, a good place to start is by picking the right scale for your design. And you can do this using a tool like typescale.com. It is my favorite tool because it not only shows you what the scale looks like, but it also shows you the scale live on a landing page and a blog post. And it does this for both desktop and mobile. So let's switch this to a horizontal view and let's pick a typography scale. We start by setting our body size. That's the paragraph size. It's the default size from which your scale will be calculated up and down. So 16 is a good default. It is the default because that's what the browser font size is set at. But maybe if I want my paragraphs to be bigger, I can start with 18. But today, I feel like 16 is a good number. Let's start with that. From here, you have a selection of different scales. You can pick whatever you want. It really depends on your design, if it's a font heavy design or it's something that should be a little more balanced. So maybe if you want something that's heavier on the fonts, you can maybe go with a perfect fourth or even an augmented fifth, and then you can preview what that looks like here on the landing page. If you want something that's a little more balanced, maybe a major third is a good way to go. You can also pick Google Fonts. That's the other cool feature of Typescale. So if you actually want to visualize what this looks like with specific fonts, you can do this. It's cool because the fonts do change in size, and it's nice to just see what your final font selection will look like and what the scale will look like using your final font selection. You can also manipulate the font weight, line height, etc. You can change the font for your headings. So if you want to do font parings, you can do that. Even though this is grayed out, it's actually available. So that's kind of cool. I do use it. I think it's useful. If you're considering upgrading, I'll say that it's not really necessary. What the Pro version lets you do are three things. One is you can add additional font sizes, so a larger size from your H1. So maybe if you want to use a large font on your hero section, on your homepage, you could just have this populate here just by clicking this plus sign. But remember, these scales, all they are multiplications. So if you want a size that's larger from here, just take this number and multiply it by your scale number and you'll get larger sizes. So, not really worth upgrading for, in my opinion. And then responsiveness, this really just allows you to have two different scales, one for mobile, one for desktop. But again, it's easy to just switch around. So, maybe here on desktop, I want to use the perfect fourth as it has bigger fonts. But obviously on mobile, this is just humongous. So I can then just switch it back to something like a minor third and see what that looks like. The paid version would have remembered these two settings, and when I would be switching between desktop and mobile, I would see it. And then the last thing you can do on the Pro is you can change the font weight of your headings and line height, etc. But I use it really just to pick a scale, and then I move back to Webflow and I do the rest there. So for that, I think the free version is just perfect. So if you are thinking about using typescales, I really recommend playing around with typescale.com, picking the right type scale, and then moving back to Webflow and working from there.